All right, good evening. We are live. Welcome to Feng Shui Talk number 9 with Krista at
Oh,
Blindly Inspired. Welcome, Krista. Good evening.
hello,
Good morning
Josh.
to
Hello,
you.
everybody. Good dawning. Good dawning. Yeah.
It's a good dawning for you. It's what, midnight, 1 a.m. in Germany right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. So, let's see who's here. Welcome, Lindsay, Millie, Scotty Boy. Welcome. And all right, and whoever else is hiding out back there, welcome. And of course, if you missed last week was a Zoom, and it was amazing. Krista took over, and well, she does every week, but she taught like we were at school, right? And so she whipped out the whiteboard, and it was amazing. And for myself, I've got pages. I could find them here. Here we go. Pages of notes myself here,
Ah,
and so
I'm
yes.
glad.
Lots to learn, lots to put in practice, and lots to change. But good stuff. So if you didn't catch it, we tagged the Zoom. There's a link in the community page, so please check that out. I'll put that into the link to the Zoom in the description here once this is set as a live later tonight. But otherwise, yeah, if you haven't been with us before, Krista, she's from Germany, so it's quite late there. So let's give her props there. She does have a YouTube channel, so please do look and subscribe. It's at Blindly Inspired, and she's been posting some amazing stuff on her community page as well, and about the tarot and such. So please go check that out. There's great learning to be had, and really, most of you guys who are in the chat here have probably been here with us before. But really, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Krista to Blindly Inspired. And again, at Blindly Inspired. And if somebody wants to put that in there, I can tag that and then flash it occasionally during the show so we can put Krista's YouTube channel up. That would be blessed. I'd truly appreciate it. And Krista, let's go ahead and say some introductions here. Let people know who you are, what how you've studied feng shui, how you learned a little bit. And Krista, also, by the way, will be on Good Dawning Tuesday at for most of, not all of Good Dawning, but a good chunk of it for sure. Tuesday morning we will have Krista on, and so yeah. So jump on there and let's see what we've got. Go ahead, Krista. Take it away.
Cool. Hi, Josh. Always a privilege to be here. Really, really grateful. Grateful that everybody's here. Thank you so much for all the support. I'm seeing lots, Karen and Tracy hasn't. I haven't seen Tracy for a while. Scotty, Lindsay, delightful Millie. Where's Suzette? I have a special message for Suzette. I hope she's okay. I didn't see her anywhere. Anyway, lots of prayers to her. I'm sure everybody's doing a lot of overwhelming Christmas stuff. How we're all doing over the silly season right now. My mother used to call it the silly season. And I just read something. I'm really embracing a lot of the Indian stuff, which started with me starting to do the Om Mani Padme, not Om Mani Padme Hum, the Om Namah Shivaya, which is the 5 elements, which I've been chanting and doing a lot of meditation with. And it's like quite interesting. It's like actually mind-blowing how much that's just opening up so many different avenues in my life. Just in one sentence, I learned Feng Shui in America, in Los Angeles, in the 90s. And so now I'm giving it back to America, which I find very interesting. So, then I returned to South Africa. I lived in the States for about 18 months in the 90s, and I'd actually gone in search of prana. Nobody knew what prana was in those days. So I just happened to be in the right place at the right time when Feng Shui was just bubbling. In America, it was just starting to come bubble up. So today I just wanted to rush in quite quickly. I sent you these notes. There's still obviously so much that we need to get through and get going. Karen, have you been to South Africa? It's very beautiful. Yeah. Well, my thoughts of the planet for many, many decades is beautiful world, beautiful planet, just pity about the people. So hopefully we're all changing. Hopefully we're all just embracing the light and just remembering that we are on such an amazing trajectory. Just, I've got my little notes here, so let me just start where I should. Otherwise, we'll go off, and I don't want to go too much over time because I know everybody's really busy with the holiday season. Just very quickly on the silly season, I came across my feed was a little thing actually by Sadhguru, who I don't really follow, but it was just he was talking about what the months at the moment, and from the 16th to the 13th of next month, the 13th, 14th of next month, is, I call it the silly season, but it's the time, it's the month of the year when your brain actually just shuts down. It goes into complete stupid mode. So, which makes huge sense to me. So in India, the Indians won't get married or make any big decisions because they can't think properly. I suppose it's like just having a big Mercury retrograde. So I thought that was really, really interesting with just everything that we're going through. So what I've written here, it's right now what we're going through is it's plan, prepare, and feel your way through everything. So I also just earlier on, I just asked my higher self for some, and my beautiful teachers around me, Yogananda being one, and this just popped up on my feed, which is just hear this well. This is like one of the reasons why I also teach it. A big reason for me is my people perish for lack of knowledge. So the more that we know, the more that we understand. But what Yogananda said was just really this is what we should call this episode. Faith unveils the spiritual laws behind miracles, turning impossibilities into miracles. I thought that was just so interesting. It gives a whole slight shift on faith alone is not okay. We need to do works. But it's not always the charity work. And this is there are rules. So we have this incredible faith, and especially in the West, we have this incredible faith in really nothing. We really get the kudos stamp for having faith in absolutely nothing. But the more that you believe, the more pathways will open up for you to learn deeper knowledge and to learn the bigger rules and messages of the universe, because there are definite rules. We haven't had words for them since the 60s. Obviously, it's crept in with the Indian and karma. Those things have crept in, but as I said earlier, and I really strongly advise everybody to just think, not now, we've got too much on our plates, but just to think of not embracing, I said that before, not embracing, just learning about an ancient religion. They're all overwhelming. So whether that could be Kabbalistic Judaism or Hinduism or ancient Chinese, there's not that much. It's they're usually quite complicated for us because there's so many gods and rulers, but they still have very much a complete program for us to follow. So many things have been happening this week. I'm sure everybody else had an incredibly full week. Millie, I'm glad you're feeling better, and I'm looking forward to having more of your beautiful insights and wisdom on your channel. Okay, so let's just as I said, I wanted to just rush into the Bagua. I hope you all got your notes because this is what everybody thinks Feng Shui is about. However, without the build-up to this, you're not going to understand it and be able to implement good cures. And ultimately, I want you to have the power in your hand. I've also I did before, and I'm looking into it, but I just closed that door quickly, into Vastu, which is the Indian thing. And yeah, I'm sure that because the Indians were pretty much the first folk on the planet. And I mean, don't forget that Buddha was also an Indian. He was also Hindu before there was Buddhism. Yeah. And I mean, I strongly believe that Yeshua went to study in India for many years. Yeah. Amongst other places, but definitely India. Where was I going with this? Right. Okay. So, yeah, and a lot of Vastu, what you see on the internet right now, but I remember I had a book on it as well. I mean, it was a little more, but I've just tuned into somebody that does it like a little more interestingly. But it just gives you a lot of rules without telling you where it comes from. So, and they work very much with the directions. I don't work with the directions. I did it one stage. I did embrace it, and then my students actually said to me that my way was much easier, not easier, much clearer than working with the directions because you've got a clearer reading. And also, South Africa is in the opposite side of the hemisphere. Just a little bit, so to work, and I'd said that a lot of Chinese people live in South Africa, and lots moved, and they all moved to this wonderful area, which had all this mountain at the back, and it was south facing, and it was an ideal situation with water in the front, except it was freezing cold because south is cold in South Africa. So everybody lived under the shade of this very, very cold mountain. And on some level, the Feng Shui did work because it had a lot of things, but it missed the sun energy, so it didn't take off quite to the energy that it did. So what I'm trying to give us all here is a whole lot of spiritual laws, because Feng Shui, if you've heard what I've said over the lessons, the weeks, there are laws. And next week I will go through again some of the laws, and I've started putting together like step by step how to do a consultation for yourself, yeah, just to like set that time and the things that you need to check. So we got this wonderful thing. I've got my beautiful white notice board here, so we can still teach. So I hope everybody can see that. I'm not going to be able to see your messages. Oops. Sorry, I'm just trying to. There we go. It's very complicated. It's not on a stand, and I can't really get to it. Okay. So remember that in Feng Shui, we work with 8 + 1 areas. It's not 9. Okay. And if you have a look at this piece of paper, it's what the Bagua or the flying star key is built on. Sorry, it's all back to front here. But if you add everything up on the lines, as I said, it's the first Sudoku. It all comes to 15, or you add it across, or that way, whichever way you do it. These numbers are always going to come to 15. This is thousands of years old. And these numbers are going to correlate to the Bagua. There's an earlier Bagua and a late Bagua. The main points, the main things that everybody wants to know. When people find out that you do Feng Shui, the first things that they're going to ask is, which really drove me dotty, is where's my wealth point, or where's my relationship point? And if you look at the internet, it's just crawling. That's what people are. It's our weakness as a human being. Most human beings, they want a wealth point, they want money, and they want. We still don't. Most people don't have any idea what a relationship is, and obviously, health. Feng Shui can really affect your health and work with it. As I've said, a Chinese practitioner. And many, and in the old days, not so old days, but they would always go to your house first before they actually did any work on your body, because it doesn't help to do all the medication that's going to heal you, and your home is affecting you. If you remember, just even a lot of the things that we talked about, the Sha energy that was pointing at you and hurting you. So let's see, it takes a bit of scrubbing to get this off. So, yeah, so working with just your wealth point or your relationship point is going to put things out of balance. And wherever you take something from, it's going to, whatever focus you put in, it's going to take energy from something else. That's just a law. It's just a universal law, which is why I work the way I do. And just remember that to be a human being, we don't just want money, and we don't just want a relationship. We want abundance, all-round abundance. If you look at the first page that I sent you, you will find a lot of other names for the areas. These are just the common names that people like to think, and it's just easier to remember. But think about it for yourself. There are so many names. Or do some research, but these are just some that, and different ones that I'm slightly working with at the moment. So here we have so we have 8 areas, and as I said, I hope we can see this. This pen doesn't work. Okay. So here we have your career or your path of life. I hope you've got your paper, because my pen's not working so well. We have knowledge, which is a 1 white water. These are going to be your areas that your element and your number associated with. It's your power area. So you're going to look at it in more detail, just a little bit extra detail for yourself. This is 1, and here we have knowledge or self-evolvement. I'm just going to go through these quickly. And it's 8 white earth. We have family, which is a 3, or the past. 4 wood. Sorry, that's 3 wood. This is your wealth area. It's also your space of prayer and devotion. This is fame, recognition, and it's your 9 purple fire. This is relationship. It's also the space of marriage. It's your space of relationship with yourself. It's your relationship with your dog, with your bank manager, with your food, with everything. It's loving yourself. These are more important than just having a relationship with somebody. Here we have the space of children, which is your 7 metal. It's also the space of your hopes and dreams or your future. And here we have your 6 white metal, which is, I think the general is helpful people, but it's business success. And your space of angels. and it's metal. Okay, where we start, we always start at number 3 with this whole Bhagwa thing. Sorry, I should have done that first. We don't start at 1, we don't start at 2. We start like with the 5, well, with the 5 elements. All of those 5 elements now just like become a good foundation for this. So here we have our wood, which is the beginning. So the way that I like to work, this is usually, I'll go through this again. This is how I seal up. This is how I see Feng Shui and how this works in our lives. We are born into the family of life, and we come from the ether. We're not coming from earth, we're coming from somewhere else. So we're born into the family of life. Then we move into our blessings and making money. We come down through the center of our life, which is the 5. 5 earth is in the center. And this is here very often where the shu hits the feng. This is waking up. And this is here very often when our whole life will kind of, things will go. You have to start looking at your life and what's happening. And what you do, we go all the way down here to our 6 metal, and we call on our angels. We call on prayer. Very often we'll get a teacher or a mentor to help us in our life, which will move us up into looking at our future, creating some hopes and dreams. Then we move down. What we start doing is we learn knowledge about that energy. What do we want to do? We start learning, we start researching. When we know what we're kind of wanting to do, we start to work with it, and we move into our area of self-recognition, other people recognizing us. We come back down again through the center, and now the center is not such a big mess. It's not complete yin and yang flying off in all tangents. It's hopefully by now working and running smoothly without too much destruction. Once you've got your kind of recognition for what you want to do and being able to put yourself out there in the world, often things will change a little bit, not too seriously, but this is where you discover your path of life, what you're here to be doing. For that moment, it will change. Once you've got that, then you develop good relationships, especially with yourself, with your higher thing, with your people around you, and off we go into the higher realms of relationships, and back we come down again, and this whole cycle keeps going. This is called 5-star key, and this is also, as I say, where they do utilize the flying star key, where everything changes. I don't use that because for me it's not very practical, and with 5-star key it will make you change your doors or do all sorts of crazy things, and these can be on a yearly basis. And quite frankly, most of us don't have the time, the energy, or the money to change a door. Sorry, I can't see. Oh, thanks, Millie, for putting that up there. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense for us. Okay, so what you're going to do, I hope everybody did a floor plan for yourself. Oh. So I'm here again. Hi. Did that make a little bit of sense for you, how this works? So if you look at this first diagram that I sent you, please go through some of those areas and think of, because this is where you're going to find anything that's affecting you or hurting you. I've been doing a lot of really interesting works. If we look at the negative aspects of the things that we're trying to change in our life, which are the 8 that's interesting. This is actually from the Indian, the Hindu, from Kali, which are the 8 emotional nooses, which hold us back from evolving, and the 8 things, and these are all within an area. So next year or later on, you can say, okay, that makes sense. Maybe just get a pen and paper and write these down. These are the 8 negative emotions that we need to conquer. Our vices: lust, anger, greed, delusion, envy, shame, fear, and disgust. I thought they were very interesting. So you can, working with the 5 elements as well, you can put them into these areas. Cool. So if you have a look at this first piece of paper, that's the first note that I sent you. Something that I've been working, it's a new thing, and it actually came with Kelly. And I just thought, oh, but this is just so amazing. It actually just works completely. So I put it onto the bagua, and it's written on the inside. Okay. And the key points that came, which is harmony, which is family, all-encompassing wealth, which we all want. It's all abundance, which is in your wealth area. Fame, which she kept as fame. Unconditional self-love. Protection, which is your child area, which is also your area of the warrior. It's the, let me just remind, it's the 7 red metal. 6, we have victory. And in the career, it was complete vision. So I thought those were just really interesting to work with the work that Kelly does as well. She didn't use this as Feng Shuiers at all. They were just working, she's working with 8s and 64s and the 64 dakinis, which I ran away from. I didn't want to have the yoginis. 64 gods. Okay. So you were asked, I hope that we did a another piece of paper. Let me just say, there we go. That you did a floor plan. Does everybody have a floor plan? Yeah, 8 times 8 is 60. Yeah, and then it goes into 144. It's like it's huge. Who was at the fire last night with Jared? I'm starting to itch again. Last fire I just purged afterwards, and this fire I've been itching. I started itching. My whole body was just like, so just like those fires that Jared, we're so blessed to have that. And he does some. Oh, cool! Yay! Oh, you're such good students. Cool. Okay, let's see if we can do this hopefully. Okay, so have you got missing pieces in your floor plan? I don't know. I'll try and draw one because each one is going to be slightly different. Okay. So, and you've got all your rooms. So what you're just going to do, because Chinese, you've heard me say it 1,000 times and you'll hear me say it again and again and again, is very, very simple. As complicated as it might be, it's really simple. We don't want any fancy houses. We just want a square or a basic rectangle. An octagon, obviously. The ideal was like a square with an empty courtyard in the center, so that if you remember what goes on about the 5 earth people, you want as little happening there as possible. Just an open courtyard and atrium. So, okay, if you can see, we're just going to draw a square. The red square is basically around your plan. and then mark the dots. Follow the dots. So if we've got dots here, and then you've got your front door here. Just make sure that your front door is nicely marked for yourself. I'll do this. I wanted to do one slightly differently. Okay, then you're going to go around and mark all these other areas, the areas which we've written up here or on that piece of paper. So we've got family, wealth, fame, relationship, children or future, helpful people, career, and knowledge. And then draw so we've got that. And then draw a cross section across your home and establish the center of your life. I said something really interesting to Josh earlier on. We were just talking about spaces and moving and things. And when he was talking about his home, I just had this insight. And I said, when you're talking about your space, substitute your name for it, substitute yourself for it, because your home is, and it was just interesting, also interesting for me how I think about my space here as well. So it's just some insightful things. What you think about your life or your home is what you think about yourself. And what I've found with all of us, with people, with all my clients, everything, we know everything that's wrong. We're constantly telling ourselves what it is. We know it. We don't hear ourselves. So we need to stop and take time to go inside into our brains, meditation. We can't get away from it. The only way out of this mess is in, guys. You know, go in and find out. And whether you're doing it at a slow pace, which is just absolutely fine. If you are jumping around like a monkey from this to this to this, that's also fine. If you're flying like a bird, that's also fine. If you're swimming like a fish through your spiritual journey, that's also fine. As I say, I've really been embracing a lot of the Hindu philosophy right now, and it's like, besides, it's very, very old. They've actually just found carvings in temples of animals that were over 40,000 years, or they died out over 40,000 years ago. So some of those temples are, as I've said often, we have got no idea. We're not prepared for what's coming. The expansion of knowledge and also the uncovering of knowledge. So try not to sleep too long, guys. Just pace yourselves. I totally heard that a 10 of Wands, too many sticks to carry right now. So try to simplify a lot of your life. Just embrace as much as you can. But simplify, but embrace it, and try not to sleep too much. And I have been exhausted. I'm just feeling on one level so energized, but on another level, like really exhausted, really tired, difficult to drag my, it's the weather. And yeah, just interesting, the earth at the moment, if you remember, I said that the winter time is not a time when the earth is being restful. She's actually working so hard. This time of the year for our side of the hemisphere is when the earth is actually closest to the sun. But the sun, the earth is we've turned our face away from the sun, which is why it's cold. So if you just hear that constant duality, that huge push and pull me, it's just what's happening, and we should all really just be hibernating and not making big plans for Christmas. So, okay, so yes, Millie, absolutely, and just keep at that. Thanks for all your reminders, Millie. You're an absolute treasure with your beautiful inspirations. So now we can have a look what's in your areas. So maybe you have your bathroom here. Where's your kitchen? Please share some things in the chat so I can get an idea how to give you guys some personal assistance on this. Oh, and this is also, there will be, Josh can do a beautiful draw for us that sometime in the new year, I will do, Millie is the bomb. She is absolutely, I will do a consultation for somebody if you want to share your life with everybody. So I will do your numbers for you and your home and the cures that you can put in. Okay, so most people give it like absolute flim flam. They say, "Oh, my bathroom's in the wealth area." Yeah, it does affect it, but it's not such a train smash. Because what is the wealth area? What element? It's a wood element. So having water feeding wood, this takes a little time to get through, but this is how we do the cures. Taking water feeding water to feed the wood is not such a big thing, not such a terrible thing to have the bathroom in the wealth area. I didn't go through, I hope I'll get some time quickly to go through the various of the bathroom and the kitchen. Just keep it clean and keep the plugs and keep the toilet seat closed if you can, because energies will go, but we'll go through that just now. More dangerous would be to have your kitchen in your helpful people area. That would be an absolute disaster because that's a metal area and we're working with fire. Fire kitchen is fire. In the Chinese tradition, the best thing is for us to be sleeping counterclockwise to our front door. So that would be wealth or relationship. It just puts us in a position of power that we can keep an eyeball on what's happening. If you have your children behind your room, they will have control of the home. I always found it very interesting. Is in the health of your kitchen. Yeah, Chris, sorry for that. So we'll have to work with that. Yeah, so it's to the right. Do you understand? That's why we did so much with the 5 elements, because fire puts out, water puts out fire. And fire, it's going to melt that fire. It's going to be very destructive if a fire melts metal. I know. It's 1 o'clock in the morning and Mercury's coming out of retrograde and the moon's too big. It's a very big moon. Always put my children in that is very good, Scotty. Highly recommended. Full moon madness has commenced, and it's going to, and just keep that in mind, that we really are going into dumbed down silly season. Our brain goes into something crazy. I think it goes into serious hibernation. We're just meant to be praying and meditating now until the middle of January. We're not supposed to be starting anything big. We're supposed to be embracing change and planning, but not actually implementing anything. But as I said, I did want to get this through to you so that we could get this going. Okay, so wherever your front, I don't know if your front door, there's 3 areas that your front door will be. If you do this way. There we go. Can we see our front door here? This is our front door. So if it's in the center, career, knowledge, helpful people, very important, is your space of angels, and it is your space of mentors, and it is your space of travel. So if you want any of those, you're going to be looking at those areas. Cool. So your front door, your path of life that you're going to work with is going to be one of 3. So you're either going to be walking into your career, into your path of life, what you're here on this planet to be doing and enjoying. You're going to be walking in, if you're slightly to the left of the Bhagwa plan, you're going to be walking into knowledge, which means this, you'll find that it'll be easy to study. You will have a lot of learning experiences, not always bad. You'll have embraced studying and a lot of self-work. Everybody's in. And just remember that people in glass houses should get dressed in the basement. So we're all basement people. If you're moving in onto the right, it's the space of business success and helpful people. Now, if these, I just know, Josh, I hope you don't mind me using your a little bit. I don't know Josh's plan, but just to make it a little bit real, if I think I had it right, I turned it around, that he has a veranda which extends to relationship. So which, if we all know Josh's life a little bit, this very briefness. So this is Josh's apartment. If you live in an apartment, it's generally square. But this is this is his veranda over here. So this area here is missing. So he has helpful people and business success and travel missing a little bit in his life. So he has an extension to relationships. So he's really working really hard with building up relationships with people. And I think we can all see that Josh is doing really, really well with that. Obviously, Josh wants bigger business success. So just for Josh's situation, because we can't get out here, he could put a mirror here on the inside of his veranda and maybe a mirror over here, facing towards the wall, behind a picture, or I think it's your elephant. I'm not sure where Josh walks into his home, if it's into the center or to the right or to the left. But that would also be very interesting to see what that would have to say for him. Okay, so wherever these areas, whatever's happening in those areas is obviously if you're wanting to work with, okay, we squared this off. Now, the best thing that you can do for right now, even if it's not squared or if they're not where the actual points should be, if you can get to them, is just go and put a crystal. If you can knock it into the ground, if you've got a garden and those areas are missing, even if there are no areas missing, it would be really nice to go around exterior of your house and knock crystals. You can use copper piping as well. I used to use, especially if the area was missing, because it really, really grounds it. Then we're on the beginning to getting this full area that we can start working. Because remember here, if we are pushing for a relationship without this balance, we're going to be pulling from knowledge, or we're going to be pulling from wealth, or we're going to be pulling from helpful people. Usually we're pulling from the one opposite it, which is knowledge. So a lot of your self-evolvement, you lose your own sense of identity when you're pushing for a relationship. It's very difficult because I can't get any insight into what anybody's home is like. I know what mine is. Hi, Viviane. Very nice. Thank you for being here. Okay. If you're looking for your children's, how I would start to work with this is, so if you're walking around your home, you can see what's happening in your children's area. If it's a mess, your kids are going to be a mess. It's going to reflect on the children in your life. If your relationship area has got things that are broken and falling apart, that is exactly what's happening in your relationship. With all the other areas. Now remember, that's really important that to work with the 5 elements, that if we have a relationship area, that would not be very nice to have the water in that relationship area. I don't like water there. It's too close to wood. Having earth, this is where the 5 elements, the knowledge of the 5 elements comes in very practically, is how are you going to balance the wealth area. So let's start with career. So these are your basic balances for the full home. You can work with this also on each individual room. And obviously, if it's your office, it's slightly different, but the principle is pretty much the same. If you have upstairs and downstairs, the top of the house just literally goes on top of the bottom of the house. So immaterial of which way, however ways the stairs move, you will just put the top on as above, so below. So we haven't been through that, hey? The toilet and the kitchen. I'll have to get through that. Okay. So hopefully we're going to be starting here. This is why I keep going on and on and on about your front door and making it absolutely beautiful and amazing. And please don't forget, it's your divine portal. Every single day, it's your portal. Every single day, it needs some violet fire. Every single day, it needs to be loved. Because especially now, this is such a beautiful and easy way to support your transformation and to keep you reminding yourself to be on top of this. Why, as I've said, why do we put water to the right of the door? It's to feed, if you remember on your 5 elements, water feeds metal. This is one of the most important metal areas to work with. Your number 6, it's order, it's the space of magical numbers, it's the space of the human being, it's the space of carbon atoms. The 6 is really, really important. We all need angels, we all need helpful people in our life. Oh, Millie, you're so lucky. You stay in a house. Well, 80% of the earth is quartz, so it's lucky if you can I don't know if you've got points, but try to just put some definite ones around. If you've got like missing areas here, I'll get there, just wait. It's just, we can't put it in the chat, eh? It's okay. So this is why we like to have water to the side. Please don't forget all those other things that we spoke about, the creaking doors, those are if you just stop there, you would have like amazing feng shui. Your life would change. Okay. And all our beautiful family that say that their house is a feng shui nightmare. Just think of where the mess is, what the mess is, what area it is, and who it's affecting. I always found this like just so amazing to like observe my own children when they were growing up. Like I could like what was happening, you can actually see if they're having troubles just by what's happening sometimes, like for some reason a window might break or the door might get jammed in your child area. It's like take a little bit more of attention. You're becoming now, so it's like the program for intuition, where we know something's wrong, but now we can really start tracing it. I think we spoke about pictures. Be very careful what pictures you have in those areas. Yeah, and clean. That's why we went with cleaning the surroundings earlier. That it's just so important to be reasonably tidy and clean. Karen, her chronic fatigue. It's usually mess and clutter. Or maybe you've got blocked pipes, or you've got blocked energy. The passageways can be very full. I've got clutter building up in my little room in the future, and I've got to really like pull myself together. It's my little storeroom, and it's also storing the future. Try and make your storerooms as pretty as possible. I have a rule of thumb that every single room should be beautiful enough to go to sleep and wake up wonderfully in the morning. I'm talking about the kitchen, the bathroom, the cellar, the attic, the garage. Put pictures in your garage. When you come home from work or from going out, have a whole range of paintings in front of your car instead of all the storage space. Or cover the storage space if it's not neatly done. Cover it with a curtain or something so that it doesn't affect you. Because remember, all of this is affecting our frequency. If you come home and it's irritating, that's going underlying your whole day. If your children, back to the children, if your kids are having problems, you can also work in this area. Depending, I don't know what it is for you. As I say, in my area, and it's my life has changed very much right now. I've just got me and my dog. My son has moved even further away, so I'm really feeling that at the moment. He's moved like 4 hours away, so it's a little sad. Obviously, having a study here in your knowledge area would be ideal. These are ideal, but life very seldom. Enjoy, Chris. Enjoy. You don't have night. I've got night time when I take my dog out. Family area is really important too. This is where most of us have big problems with our families. It's the past where we grew up. If you want to have a better harmony with them and you've got family pictures, put them down the passageway in your life. Wealth area, we want to bring in plants, even just a simple big plant here. But whatever that area is, I can't tell. I can't see. So I'm happy to do an area, and you can maybe share some for next week with me or send me an email, and then I can go over some things a little more clearer next week so I can help be more productive with the help. This is like trying to read it from a book, where you never find the actual problem that you have in a book. Fame area, yes, we all want fame. If you can have a notice board. I once had a bathroom in that area, not ideal. Yet again, we're dealing with water and fire. I made it really beautiful, and I had a whole lot of fairies, and I made it my absolute fairy kingdom in there. There was lots of red and mushrooms and things, and you couldn't take the bathroom away. I also had a place where I had a little bit missing here, not much, and you would never have noticed it until you did the big walk around. what I did then was and I would always just notice that there was always just this little shortfall of money. I managed to find some beautiful paving stones, which were like coins, like Chinese coins. So I had 3 of those paving stones over there, which definitely helped. And life, when you do these things and you seal it up, you will notice, boom, things definitely go better. You have to do the hard work. This is just an assistant to doing your hard work and giving you the most immense tool to work with and change your life and to make things easy. Yeah, there's a lot. There is a lot. I think, and I'm still not even finished because I've jumped over a huge space because I wanted you just to be able to get this in before the new year. Have some questions so that I can help some of us in a definite way where we can balance the place, so that you can get some plans going for next year because it's an ongoing thing. Your house will never ever be finished. The family area is wood. That's beautiful. That's beautiful, Lindsay. That's working. You've got your 3 wood going back to the 5 elements. You should have pretty much good harmony. Obviously, have a look what else is happening there. Sometimes it could maybe get a little bit too heated. In that family area, I always like to bring in turquoise. Something turquoise. The Chinese was one of those internal food dogs. That's where it comes from. They also like the guardians, the Fukluk and Sao, but we're not Chinese, and if you don't understand them and you don't believe in them, then please don't use them. Bringing things in groups of 3 is really nice. Decorating in groups of 3 is really nice. Oh, sorry, Karen. I'm going to finish because I know that people have got lots of other things. It's a pleasure, Scotty. Are you also on your way? Because I know it, and especially right now. I'm going to have to do that with the kitchen and the bathroom because I didn't do that because those really vibrate hugely with the 5 elements, especially the kitchen, because you're dealing with 2 contrary elements all the time, which is fire and water. So it's also the place where we cook up our wealth and our health and our joy. So the kitchen is extremely important. Is it 4 o'clock for you? Is it earlier for you? Or do you want it? I don't know. We'll leave it up to Josh. We can do a longer series next week if everybody. But it's Christmas weekend. And it's like, I don't know, you guys, aren't you busy to do stuff for Christmas? I'm really lucky. If you can, please be doing some fasting. It is, don't miss this. Don't miss, especially this year. We're really moving. We're so about face with what we do in the world, in the Western world. We have no idea how to celebrate this turning cycles. I have a few Muslim friends who live in Germany, and Germany is quite Christian, Catholic. And I'll talk about that another time. But if there are any festivals that you do in your life, you can chuck them all out. Just keep the simplicity of those, the 4 turning cycles, which is the 2 equinoxes and the 2 solstices. Those, and obviously you can add on your 8 and whichever ones you want to. But those 4 are the most important ones that we should really acknowledge just a little bit. The old Celtic festivals, and you see they go everywhere, but just those 4. Don't make a huge big thing about it. Just acknowledge them briefly and simply in your life. Your life will acknowledge them. You will know them. Oh, Scotty, I hope you're talking to me. Thank you so much. Yeah, I did speak to. Okay, Lindsay, just so now, I mean, if you've got that in that area, just that's what I've said. You're going to go through your home. You're going to say, but this is like there's so little to do. There's so much knowledge, but there's just so little to do because if you're even halfway in tune, we generally know what we need to do. And we've generally got it right. And it's just like now you have a formula and a plan. I mean, when you're moving your furniture around, it's so. Bye, Karen. Have an awesome channeling session. See you next week. Have a beautiful, beautiful week. You just now have a plan to decorate. Watch where, if it's in a specific, we've gone through a lot with the bedroom. Those things are really, really important. No amount of good feng shui is going to sort out your bedroom if you've got mirrors and if you've got the bathroom pulling your energy. So those things are, as I've said lots of times, it's maintenance and common sense. And then 100% feng shui. When my other kids turned into teenagers and I couldn't be there all the time and I was working so hard, so I was hardly at home. Outside my son's bedroom, I put a giraffe. It was in South Africa, and I had this really big, imposing giraffe. It was taller than him. I said, "Oh, it's just going to keep an eye on you." So you can be very creative with how you can do things, and it really did. He was like it was this policeman outside his bedroom door. Interesting, I worked with a client as well like that. She had a lot of trees and she didn't want to get rid of them and she couldn't see them. So we didn't use those big giraffes, but we just stuck 2 little giraffes on the porch so that they could see over the area. And because if you remember with but we'll go through that. With the form school where you've got your snake in the middle, your house, and you've got your tiger in the west, your white tiger, and your green dragon, jade dragon, and your black tortoise at the back to give you stability. You need to have your vista open, your horizon, your red phoenix. Otherwise, if you're just coming up against a brick wall. If you do come up against a brick wall, you can just put a picture or a mirror there. These things work so wonderfully. I wanted to just mention that but Suzette isn't here because she had this cupboard with the mirrors. They're very popular in South Africa. I don't know how popular they are here, but they do create problems. And I was looking on Temu. I don't know if you get Temu. I'm sure you do. There's lots of really cheap stuff. But I was just looking at faceted crystals. They are so cheap, and you don't have to you're going to get them home and you're going to clean them now. So you're going to wash them, you're going to energize them, you're going to put some nice smelling salts with them. But what they did have, so if anybody needs to do these garlands, they had string. It's like, where were these when I used to make things like this? They've got little octagon. Obviously, now you know that to work with the octagon crystal is going to be wonderful, a faceted crystal. And they've got garlands that are about 5 feet or 5 meters for like €5 or €3. So you can just buy the stuff by the meter. And that would be just so amazing to put in front of those mirrors at the bottom, in front of the mirror at the bottom of Suzette's bed. Also, for some of you that have got a bathroom en suite to your bedroom, that would also be wonderful. And it's already made for you. And that price is just incredible. You can get like decent size round faceted crystals for like €1 or €2. So have a look at it. It's Temu. So what have you been smoking, Millie, if you've been giggling all night long? Oh, there we go. Where's your bong, Scott? Yeah, you must be careful of these things, especially the center. You're going to find that you've got the cat box there, or this is where you make a mess. Try and clear it out. Think of what you want in the center, preferably nothing, usually a nice carpet, It's very difficult to put a plant in the center of your life because you're going to fall over it. Practicality is always really important. Lack of energy. Who's talking lack of energy? Water your plants. Clean your windows. If your children are going to study, clean your windows. I mean, writing exams, you'll definitely see, or you can't see things clearly, clean your windows. You will definitely see things, have a new, fresh outlook on life. Cool. So, now what is clairsentience? Are you hearing? Are you doing everything, Millie? Yeah. I was going to talk about that next week, but I'll just like you'll see. Okay, just for next week is just think about the things that irritated you when you first moved into your home, because these are things that are really important. You know them. This is why they irritated you. So it was maybe the train going by, or the light shining in the window, or the crickety broken door. And almost all my clients have said to me, they said, oh, it used to bother me, but I've got used to it. This is the horror of life, that it used to bother us, but now we've got used to it. So we just accept all this shit that gets thrown at us. And we just get used to it. Not cool. So if you can, make a list of the things that irritated you, because you want to now have a look where they are and you'll see why they irritated you. We want to have beautiful lives. As I said, this is, you have to do the work, guys. You have to, first of all, do the work in your home. But it's just so supportive of the work that you're doing. And I'm sorry, Chris, because it's too much to actually just give you little bits and pieces about having the helpful people. Just try to put some plants in your kitchen, just to balance and harmonize that that fire energy that's in that metal area. Also, on the outside of your home, next to the front door, I would put some mirrors up for the gophers, Scotty. For Millie, who's doing the gophers. Yeah, do that. And then on the outside of your home, work extra on that helpful people. So putting in a little wind chime or a faceted crystal and a bowl of water. To the front, as you walk into your front door, to the right, have a bowl of water or a little fountain. Fountains are obviously nicest, but I'm trying to keep the cost down. What I usually do is I go from the high thing in my brain and then I go filter it down. So if I do a consultation for you, I will often come until one works for you and say, okay, I can live with that. Because, you know, the often the most practical, the most obvious thing is not the thing that people want. It doesn't. Yeah, if you've drawn up your home, just have a look at if there are any funny little things here. I've seen lots of really sad things here, especially if there's lots of wiggles and things where we've had like abused children. The builders abused the children when they were like changing the floor plan, the building on. I don't know how I mean, obviously in Germany, the rules are really strict with building on. I know when I lived in Topanga, it was just haphazard and everybody created whatever they wanted to. That got a little stricter. South Africa, I've yet to find a plan that has a, that's according to the house. So they're all slightly wrong. You know, everybody just, they did the blueprint so that they could get past, but they don't actually look like that. Oh, I think I did mention it to you. I had a friend, it was so interesting. I just went to his business partner's house, was over New Year's, and it was very, very interesting. It was very innovative and modern. And in the wealth point of his home, I try not to, but you can't help observing. But it was so weird. You had to go out the house and walk on this corridor outside, this like landing, and then get into the house, into this room the other way. It was like totally fascinating. It was really interesting. But I just thought this is really weird. You really like doing weird things. My friend came to work one day and he was locked out of his own company. This guy had just totally taken over, locked, and he'd actually started the company, but he had no access to his files, to his clients, to anything. And I thought, oh, that just makes sense. That crazy wealth point with all that funny little pathway around the house. Not cool. Bedrooms with water sinks or pipes underneath, especially if the pipes get broken. And your kids are sleeping in those rooms. What is going to suck up water? This is where you come up with your 5 elements. The one client, his son committed suicide, and he had water, and that was really dirty water in his bedroom. He had a basin in his bedroom, and the bedroom was also down. And another client, they had exploded pipes under the kid's bedroom, and he died in a car accident, way too young to have gone. So these things can be really affect your life. Especially water in bedrooms. You don't want water in bedrooms. I think I've mentioned that before. Then if you do, it's back to your 5 elements. What's the best cure? How am I going to suck up that water? I can either bring in wood, I can bring in metal, or I can bring in earth to suck it up, to pollute it. That's why I like the dynamic energy. I work a lot with earth and water to suck up the water. Especially for now, these are just things jumping here right now. In your knowledge area, if you can, feed the birds. We're all doing a lot of self-knowledge, self-involvement, especially if it's outside. Feed the birds. You don't want to water the birds here. It's back again. We've got an earth environment and a water environment. You don't want to put water here. You can feed the birds here. It's not a problem. But you don't want to really put too much water in your knowledge area. It will give you techie knowledge. You won't be able to learn properly. I don't know if anybody has got this kind of scenario. It was very popular in South Africa. And obviously the shape of your house. So I don't know if you've got. It was just also like, okay, so this here, if you've got this shape and you're sleeping here, it's called the meat cleaver. You know those Chinese things? This is going to cause a lot of anger and cut relationships. You'll very often find that there's going to be a divorce there. Where's the pond? Is it in the knowledge area? Put flowers in the pond. Can you put flowers in the pond or stones around the pond? Preferably if you can get big rocks. Remember, this is all back to the 5 elements. You can hold some of that water. So if you can work with the number 8. Okay, including the which one that I just drew here? Yeah, so it's just like really important. The kitchen is a meat cleaver. What's your health, Millie? We're going to get into the kitchen. So it's always so, but once, as I said, sorry, I was just writing up notes for this week. Once you've brought in your balance over here, you're going to find that that's really going to help a little bit. So once you've done just that simple, eight little crystals around your home, and especially some attention to here, like if this is like, I've done here your wealth, if this is your relationship point missing, put 2 crystals there. Ideally, when we're doing the cures, you're going to put 2 plants over there, 2 birds over there, because birds mate for life. And this thing just works. So I don't know if that you can do, put 2 birds. Gardens are beautiful to work. I love the garden the most. I always see the garden as our spiritual energy. We're going way over time, guys. How are you doing? Don't you want to go rushing off? Keeping you all so long again. Yeah, just count them. Now you're doing it with consciousness. Maybe just acknowledge it if you can put some plants around there. Nature, just everything. I was just so interesting that I was just listening, thinking, got some answer to something. Why certain religions are taking off or certain things fall by is because we don't give them energy. And as they said, it's why nobody's like worshipping Thor anymore or Apollo, because that energy stopped. There's nobody going to the temple. It's starting to resurge again because people are doing sacred ceremonies to these ancient gods. So all these gods are going to be coming back, which is what I'm trying to get down to saying to just is acknowledge that area with the stones. Try to now become a little bit of OCD with counting in eights. Maybe put some plants around it. The knowledge area is also where, as I say, I like to feed the birds. If you can feed the birds, it might interfere too much with the pond. You can hang a wind chime over it. Add some plants to it. Add something to it. Put a bird, not a hanging bird feeder, maybe a bird table, just to balance that area, because we want to be able to learn, and it's really horrid when it's so simple and people can battle so hard with a learning problem. Oh, this is the other thing that I wanted to. It's quite very popular in South Africa, and no book has this. Well, my interpretation. Sorry, I'm going to talk about myself. So we have that situation where your front door is halfway up the house. So you've got to, when you square it off, you've got all of this stuff behind you. So what I see, part of the reading for this house is that all your knowledge is behind you. You're not, most of your knowledge, you're not learning so much anymore. You've done like all your studying, you're now utilizing it. Career, be careful of these where it's definitely on the definite point there. Is where you're really focusing on now, not learning anymore, and focusing hugely on business success or travel. So I don't know if you have this kind of situation in the States. What are we talking about? You know, our main space is almost square upstairs. There's a rectangle out the floor. No. My main space is almost a square upstairs. Sorry, I can't kind of understand what you're trying to say, Lindsay. Upstairs has a rectangle out of the floor. Huh? Just figuring out what area that is. If it's from upstairs, because the way that you're working at it from the bottom is above. When we move into like a bedroom, okay, let's say your main bedroom. Let me draw this a little bit bigger. Don't get too into it, but just know that it is there. Okay, so this scenario here where we have like the bedroom in the relationship point and the door going in here. So here's their front door. So we can see that some of their learning, it's not huge like this one. Some of their learning is still behind them. And they've done a lot of like learning. And when we go into the main master bedroom, what's affecting these people the most, they're sleeping in their relationship. Hopefully it's in a good, we've managed to balance all that nicely. And in this area, then they would have 2 birds, 2 ducks. It gets boring. It's 2 birds, 2 ducks, maybe 2 plants, everything in the bedroom in twos. Obviously, all that stuff with the bed. Be careful what you got behind the door. Da 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 da. But if we take this and we look at there, we'd have that's wealth and relationship and fame. Da da da. So I would read that person's life as having a wealth of relationships, or they have to have a relationship with money. Obviously, everything around there will tell. All these things are going to tell. It is so clear. It's as clear as daylight. And as I said, it's always so whatever area you're in, you can start to juxtaposition and read your life, what it's offering you and how you can change it. But more importantly, how you can now support it. I don't know what journey you're on right now. Millie, I hope your cooking's going good. What did you say? Your kitchen was in the cleaver. Balance that area. You could be getting ill from your food, depends what things are in the kitchen. If you have a table on that cleaver area, you could have a little bit of heated discussions and arguments around that table. How we're going to bring in harmony, if you remember, is 2 main ways. Is the 6 elements, so you can work with the 6 true colors, which is quite easy in a bowl, especially in the kitchen, to implement a beautiful vase or something, or vase of flowers, or bring in something turquoise. It will bring in harmony into the kitchen and health. Always cooking, never satisfying. Well, as long as you enjoy it. Oh, okay. Okay. Maybe you can just draw it up quickly and send it to me, Millie. Send me a quick drawing of it. I will also next year, Josh can do a pull out, as I said, yeah, we'll do a reading. So then it can be really real and you can share what's going on in your life as we read it. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, yeah. And just absolutely. And if you just look around your home, you will find that there's so little that you have to buy again, that you have to buy to implement this. Most of the stuff you have, it's maybe just in the wrong area. The only thing that I would say is go and buy is those things on Temu, which are the faceted crystals, which you can use the Swarovski if you want to, but it's as long as you're making rainbows. I do like to, definite things that I like to do. Oh, sorry, I'm not here. Okay. So helpful people here, we want to have water. Okay. Career, we want it to be beautiful and wonderful, and your front door area, and it's also very, very water area, but we're working with the water to the next. Whatever you're doing, have some thing that is where you want to go within your life. That's your life, not mine. Obviously, all the doors and all of that. Knowledge area is feed the birds, or a statue of birds. Obviously, books, library. If it's in a room, just try to get if you can, put books in that area, or whatever you want knowledge of. Just be very careful what you have knowledge of there. Family area is your past, it's your family. It's also a good space for pictures of the family, working in groups of 3, your colors of, it's difficult to say, plants are good here. It's difficult to say colors because personally I like to do a theme color through a home. So it can get very scatty with all the different colors. But the turquoise there will always bring in harmony. Wealth area, a plant, obviously you've got your wealth plants and you've got your ficus plants. You don't want any cacti and things. You want to activate it with a nice wind chime, preferably wooden or bamboo. You want to work on the outside of the house as well, with a wind chime to really activate that. Obviously make sure nothing's missing. In our fame area, it's something red. It's where you can put a notice board, watch what it is, watch which child is sleeping in that area. They will get attention for good or for bad. You need to then work with, obviously, with that energy, that element of the child. Fame, usually putting in a small wind chime, something with red, something with gold. I had fairies. It's what I share with you. I had a client that we worked, she wanted to bring a very big company into South Africa. So we did and we worked with it with, fame area in her business. And I had a little neon sign made up of the company that she wanted to bring through. So we can really be a bit, you can manipulate. And she did. It's huge. It's a big international company. And then she retired. Relationship area, anything in 2s, ducks. Obviously, you can have dogs and cats, but ducks and birds are really good. Try not to have water in that area. Ponds are not good. Same story here. You want to suck it up. But whatever energy you've got here is in 2s. Your colors, obviously, are your reds and your peaches, your terracottas, golds, yellows. Your child area, even if it's in your bedroom and it's not in a child area, in a window, do have a faceted crystal, please, in your bedroom. It is the most wonderful thing to get dressed in rainbows every day because God is light. I mean, I was saying this long, long, long ago now. We do know that God is a rainbow. So it's just if God is light and light is a rainbow, if you look through a prism. When we first started with this, prisms were all very exciting for people to look through. Now they just like second nature to us, which is just so amazing. Oh, thanks, Scotty. Yeah, you get confidence from practice, and it's like meditation. It's all a muscle, Thanks, Scotty. I really appreciate that. But yeah, this is if you want to have a vision board, your hopes and dreams. It's not so. This is the space of the warrior. This is a very interesting space, which I will actually go through a little bit more. The colors, I haven't gone through the colors or anything yet. The colors here are the rainbows. It's your space of play. I'm assuming that you've read everything. It's the space of downtime, of fun time. It's also the space of the warrior. I wanted to say, and Millie, you're just interesting. If you have like a metal child, I had a metal child, and I only realized that like when he was like just before his teenagehood. But he used to buy weapons, and because I didn't like them, and he would hide them under his pillow so that I didn't see, like pocket knives, not weapons, but like pocket knives. He had a thing for pocket knives. I was also really silly at the time, and I mean, I let him do martial arts, but I said that he had to be a little bit older to do them, and all he wanted to do was fight and kick. But he was very, very passive as person. But that's your metal person, especially your 7 red metal. They want to be fighting. They need to be all sport, but usually fighting. They collect guns. They're obsessed with guns. And I wouldn't get them guns. I would like not even a Waldorf gun, which was a wooden gun. So he had this whole artillery in his room of twigs and sticks, which was his guns and his weapons. He was just making weapons all the time. It was like a forest in his room at one stage. If I'd known that, I would have directed it into a different energy, and I would have got him maybe involved in interested in antique weaponry and things, and doing martial arts with a different consciousness. So it would have changed our life hugely to know a lot of this knowledge. But it's okay. This is why you've got it, and hopefully you'll move it on to your children, and you'll keep your home clean. And your children, when they start to understand this, they really love this stuff. So if you've got kids, please share it with them when you do their room with them. Just do the bagua on their room, obviously, where their desk is. It's not always possible to do it. Yeah. Oh, what child? I missed that. Oh, what child, just? Oh, what child? Oh, it was a 7 metal. He was a 7 metal child, if that's what you mean. Sorry. So here is rainbows, white. The Chinese don't do white. It's like the Indians also means death, except for children, because obviously they come straight from that area after death. So we can do white for children. But you can do rainbows or colorful things. Vision board, where you want to go within your life. If it's in your room, in your office, that's a good area with it. If you want fame and recognition, it's also here in the fame area. Wind chimes in the child area. Oh yes, and we're talking about faceted crystals. Yeah, definitely a faceted crystal in the child area of your home, of your room, or whatever, however many you want to do. A metal child, yeah. Just that was, how can this be used practically, Millie? You're going on a child thing, and yeah, I've had and actually from the Waldorf school was terrible. That particular child was seriously bullied by a teacher. Oh, it was horrible. Yeah, but anyway, it is what it is sometimes, and that's my great sayings. It is what it is, and it was what it was, and we hold many keys and many bits of knowledge to lead and to share with the new generation, and the more we can share it in the nicest, kindest, sweetest possible way, the better it will be for our children. And we need to fight for them, and thank you, Millie, for standing up and fighting for them, because unfortunately they can't stand up and fight for themselves. How this can work if you have your, and that was also so sad. They just in the Waldorf school at the time, a very good friend of mine was the most amazing astrologer, and she said, let's work with the children with their astrology chart. It would make the class even more harmonious, and they were just so close to it, which was really interesting, because Steiner works with that around a table where he has the 4 temperaments, which is phlegmatic and sanguine, and what's the other one? It's aggressive. But anyway, you have them like next to each other and they help each other. And his idea was also that you have a clever student next to a stupid student, a slow student, so that there's always that constant harmonizing and helping. With us, it's obviously gets a bit finer, but on a broad sense, it's on years. So if you're a teacher and you have this whole, your boys and your girls are going to be different, remember? Unless it's a 3 wood year, then they're the same. But if you've got a whole pile of 7 metal boys in that class for that year, you must know that to get them to, they need to fight, they need to do energy, they need to do huge amounts of sport. They could maybe also do stamp collecting. They're going to be obsessed with competition. They're going to be very military based. They're going to be ordering everybody around. So this, and you'll hear teachers say, oh, that last year was an absolute nightmare. Obviously, she's got to look at her own element as well. If you've got a 3 wood where those children were born, most of them in the 3 wood year, then you're going to have very, very creative kids. They're not going to be very into the fighting and the sport. Just they do some dance and they might do some yoga, but their idea of running a race is running as fast as they can to come second last. It's definitely you're hurting them by making them do like conventional sport. But give them a paintbrush, give them some music, give them some stories, and they're in their element. So obviously we've got systems to work with, but can be really, really so helpful in guiding that child on a very, very broad basis. But you only want a broad basis in a school for that thing, on that level. If you have knowledge, children born in 8 mountain, they very they need a lot of security. They need a lot of knowledge behind them. They need like really intelligent knowledge. They don't like to be spoken to as children. They're usually a lot older than you think they are. They're a lot smarter and wiser. They're very still, really accumulating a huge amount of knowledge. But if you don't feed them, those children, they've very often got ADHD, which I think ADHD is often boredom, because the school system is very boring. So give them, in the back of your car, have like the Tell Me Why books. They're not into coloring in that much and into the arts and crafts, but they're very into learning. So you've got water kids. I mean, all children need music, but you've got water children. You're going to have a whole pile of geniuses, musical geniuses and dancers. So I hope that can be helpful. You can think, yeah. So have a look through your home, see what's missing, see where it's affecting your life or has affected your life. Look at the year that you're born into your home, literally that you're born into your home. Have a look at where you, when you moved into your home, because that energy of that year is also going to be affecting you. So, if you're a wood person and you moved into your home, you look at the female number and you moved into your home in a metal time, it's going to be a little challenging for you. You will find yourself having a little extra anxiety, a little more high stress. You might have skin problems, you might have nose problems. You will definitely be tensioning up with your eating thing, your eating and health, because remember that metal is chopping down wood. You're going to find everything. You can be also a little exhausted. Who was exhausted? Was it Karen in her home? That could also be a thing. So have a look at that. how you're going to harmonize it through water, through the color black, being acknowledge of it when you walk into your front door. So it's really important to harmonize that between the metal and the wood, which you're bringing in water. We didn't go through that enough. We finished off last week, but I hope that you've got quite a lot for now. How are you doing there, Josh? Is Josh there?
Yep, I'm here. I hit the mute button there. All right, let's see. We go. Right here, absolutely. No, this has been absolutely amazing. And so yeah, I got to get you. I still have to finish. I'll be as honest as I am. I still have to finish my chart on my own house there. But
Do it for yourself. It's fine.
exactly.
If you've
Well,
got
I was going
questions,
through issues with the lease and such, so I didn't want to ground into anything here. And so now that the lease issue is taken care of, and I know that that's the whole reason is the energetics of the lease and not putting any. I was like, until this is figured out, I'm not putting any energy into my apartment. But yeah, after watching this, definitely, and we'll talk off camera there about the
yeah.
gaps in the space in my apartment for sure.
But you can look at it and you've have almost. It is overwhelming, but when you look at it again, it's not as overwhelming as it is. It's like a human being. I mean, we're overwhelmed when we're born. We've got these arms, we poop, we've got eyes, we've got ears. What are we doing with these limbs and things? But once you kind of get the hang of it, it's obvious why you've got them. So
Exactly.
it's like your home as well. It does this, all of this, which is why I teach like this and why I won't do a consultation just for a wealth area. A consultation with me usually takes an hour, a full day.
A full day. Wow. Oh boy, I can
Not
imagine
not on
doing
the
the.
internet, but it's still a few hours. But when I go to a person's place, it's pretty
Oh
much
sure. That I
a
could
break.
certainly see for sure. Hi, Rick. How you doing? Welcome,
Yeah,
brother. Big hugs and healing there. And yeah, so keep in mind, Krista's going to be on as well, more interview format on, and I said Tuesday, but it's actually Wednesday, in the middle of the week to help
yeah.
balance out the energies, right? So we're going to have Krista on Wednesday. Tuesday is going to be Chloe, and with a flash Christmas sale.
Awesome. I need Chloe's email address and I can't find it. So if
I'll take well
anybody,
once. Yeah, I'll just send it to you. I'll take care of it off
or I'll
camera.
get it on Wednesday, on Tuesday or Wednesday from her.
No, I got you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for that. I really appreciate that. That's really great. So please have questions, people. Are we going to do next week as well? Or is it
Yes.
Christmas?
People have said that they wanted to, and they wanted to do it a little earlier, so at 4 o'clock. So that's an hour earlier for you. It's instead of 1 a.m. It's
It's fine.
midnight.
It's fine. It's perfect. And then I think I did mention like sometime next year, because I'm also putting a lot of this together for a workshop. Then I'll do a more focused workshop, so that but it will be more day after day after day,
Perfect.
because it's a little weird doing this like this because you tend to forget. So
Right, unless
which
you're
is why I
watching each
would do
show
this
until you
like
right up to the show, you're not going to remember.
yeah, totally submissive. I relate. I thought of it as it's like baking a cake, and then next week you slice the cake and you put it together, and then the next week you ice the cake, and then the next week you decorate it, and by the time you get to eat the cake, you've forgotten what cake you actually made.
Right.
Yeah.
But if it's a
Or
German cake, though, it's probably going to be phenomenal. Most German bakeries are. I've had two master German bakers in my universe, so it's been.
You must have Sasha torta. Sasha torta is absolutely awesome. That's like thick, double delicious chocolate. And now we have Kristollen, which is just wonderful.
What's Chris Stolen?
Kristollen is our Christmas cake. It's more like a bread. It's like a yeast bread.
Mm-hmm.
And they put a layer of marzipan in the center, so you've got that sweetness, but it's got raisins and nuts and lemon peel and orange peel in it. And then it's got like often rum.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah, so it can also get a little drunky. But it's more like a really yummy bread. And then it's got caster sugar, icing sugar on top. And very often you don't have to, but it's nice to eat it with butter.
Ooh, that sounds amazing. I'll swap you a American fruitcake there, Big Bud.
Ah,
You ever
yeah,
had a
I don't like that. Yeah, we do that one in it's the English stuff.
yeah, it's no
Yeah.
fun.
But you can
All
get
right.
panettone and things. You can get the Italian stuff. That's also very nice.
Ooh, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't like that, and it's bitter, that horrible fruit cake. It's bitter. Yeah.
Well, I don't think actually German chocolate cake. I always made a joke with my recent ex. Her mom is German, and so I always made a joke that did you make the official chocolate cake of Germany? But how would they? Why would they put coconut on the official chocolate cake of Germany? I'm just gonna
Coconut?
say German chocolate cake doesn't have coconut in it.
No.
I
But you
thought
know
it
how
did.
to make, I have to give you
Maybe
the secret because this is the secret
it's
to
not
make a proper
coconut. See?
German chocolate cake, is you grate nutmeg in it and then it gets that proper German chocolate cake
Well,
taste.
no, in America, there's actually a cake called German chocolate cake, but it has coconut sprinkles on it. Like,
Oh,
and right, but the cake, its physical self, is that German cake that you would expect, but they
yeah.
put coconut sprinkles on it, which, if you're in Germany, probably the last thing in the world you would, the most
No,
landlocked in the middle of no, you're not even going to think about a coconut. And generally, I've never seen coconut in German cooking. So.
no, no, they don't. Not at all. I mean, they embrace a little bit of it now.
So yeah, look
But
up German chocolate cake. It'll flip you out. But it's
yeah, but
coconut.
if you look up Sascha Torte, that's German. Actually, it's Austrian, but who knows what's Austrian and what's German these days? You know.
Cherries, no coconut. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe I'm wrong. That's the
but Sascha
American. It's
Torte is very
Americanized
nice.
either way. Anything that hits America generally gets. I'm not going to say bastardized, but you get it gets destroyed as far as like
Oh, but it
old school
tastes so
recipes.
good. All that fake food is amazing. I mean, you do this amazing. When I lived there and I was also like vegetarian, and the vegetarian stuff is just, those health food stores are just so amazing. So many sweets and those dipped nuts and so many different ice creams made without ice cream. Yeah.
Exactly, like our Chinese food that isn't really Chinese food.
It's not Chinese food, no.
No, when I was hitchhiking, this guys picked me up in Missouri, and we're going to Springfield. So we drive into Springfield, and this guy's like, "Are you hungry?" We're like, "Well, sure." So we put in this Chinese restaurant, and he's like, "2 orders of cashew chicken." And he's like, "If you didn't know, this is the restaurant where cashew chicken was invented." I'm like, "What?" So it's it was like it's made in Missouri. It's not even a real. So yeah, so like half of our it's not even real food. I mean, it is, but
Okay, have a look, and yeah, you can make Christstollen if you bake it. It's a yeast dough. It's very nice to make, and you have Aldi's now in America. I don't know if every.
we have two different versions of Aldi's, but we do have Aldi's. There's some in the Midwest, and then there's some, I believe, further out west. But there's none out here where we are. But yeah, we
Oh,
do have
okay,
Aldi's, and yeah. So, but we do. It's just scattered about the country. It depends on where you're.
okay, because you
And
must
there's
probably
two
get a
different versions of
Stollen.
Aldi's.
You must probably be able to get a Christstollen at Aldi's because it's German. You know their own Mr. Trader Joe's. Did you know that? You know Trader
They're,
Joe's.
they're German? I had no idea.
Trader Joe's owns because and then I look because we've got tons of in our Aldi here. We get lots of Trader Joe's stuff, and I just love Trader Joe's.
Oh
Like
wow.
the nuts and yeah, certain things are like. And then I looked it up, and it was actually for a long since 1978 or 87 that it's been German.
Oh, interesting. I had no idea.
We
I
don't know
mean,
this. Nobody's telling us.
no, of course not.
I
The
mean, in
Scotty boy
South
has.
Africa, we had people like going against the McDonald's and like doing all sorts of Tokolosh magic voo on it. And I said, but don't you know, it's like McDonald's. My father refused to eat a McDonald's in South Africa because it it was black owned and it was totally reverse. They didn't employ any white people. It was like the beginning. It was really, yeah, it
No,
was,
well.
yeah. And it was actually owned by Mr. Cyril Ramaphosa. That's where he made all his money.
And who
You
is
know,
that?
our president, the president of
Oh,
South
there you
Africa.
go.
But
Oh,
nobody
wow.
knew that. Nobody knew that. And I only just fairly recently found out that that's where he made his money, was that he brought McDonald's to South Africa, and that was his first investment.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But they were very, very racist against the white people in South
Interesting.
Africa, McDonald's, yeah. But then when I was there, you had people like the black people, like not knowing that it's a completely BE, you know, all these terms. It was completely black owned enterprise.
Well, yeah,
It's
but in
a,
South Africa, you guys were dealing with apartheid, so at least he
yeah,
was trying to
but
keep it in
nobody
the.
knew this. Nobody knew this, so they just thought it was just automatically an American white-owned company. But and nobody was informing them. I just shouted and loud enough. I said, "Well, you better go find out. We want articles. Come, who owns who? No, we can't tell you. Who owns who? What does a part of the action mean? You know, we've got a very interesting history. Part of the action means that when the boats, especially from Holland, went out into the world, people wanted a part of the action. So it was like investing in what they what they were trading. Oh, so yeah.
Apparently, Rick shops at Aldi, and he shops at Trader Joe's. So there we go.
Yeah, our
And Publix.
McDonald's here is we weren't, they didn't hear, they fought for years that they did not want a McDonald's. You had to go far, far, far to get a McDonald's, and most of the McDonald's are more like the Mac cafes.
Yeah, I've heard you can get beer at McDonald's in Germany.
No,
No,
maybe somewhere not.
some of the McDonald's
Maybe you can get
around the
beer
world you can get
anywhere.
beer.
You get beer everywhere. Um, but they make the beer. They make awesome coffee. So they've really, yeah, no, they've mainly made them, and they do them in greens and sort of very bamboo-y, and they don't look that much like a McDonald's. But they focus more on the McCafe and the cake and the coffee and the hot chocolate. Obviously, everybody wants the food. It's so totally addictive. And wherever there's litter in Germany, it's guaranteed it's going to be McDonald's packaging or or or
Yeah, in
um
Colorado, it's going to be some sort of weed packaging, most likely. So
or
you're going to get a
burger.
box from a vape or somebody's container from their weed or what have you on the ground. You see it
Yeah,
everywhere. It's kind of crazy. They have to give out these little things. They throw them on the people. Throw them. If you walk by a
yeah.
dispensary, they see all these flyers that the state has to give you. They throw them on the ground. It's crazy.
Well, nobody in America is American, you know.
Generally, no. I mean, unless you can, the Daughters of the Revolution, or go back to the Mayflower or something.
But they were also a mix. We're
And
so
they
mixed up
technically aren't
here.
American either, but that's as close as you can get. Is
Yeah.
that we have a group called the Daughters of the American Revolution. And so if
But
you can trace yourself back that far, that would be about
yeah.
as close as you're going to get to real
We
America.
don't know, and things are going to explode. So just hold on to your roller coaster, guys. I mean, I've been going through a lot of, again, the church and Western history and what BS it is. Even this news, the stuff that I really thought I could trust. But something I just recently saw, because there was no history on China. Even the Chinese didn't know their history. Now it's coming out and out. But there are thousands of pyramids in China and pyramids all over the world, okay? But they've encouraged people to cover it up and to plant on top of the pyramids because they didn't want people to know that they had the pyramids. Why? Because in the burial grounds around there, the people don't have black hair, they all have red hair and a lot of blondes. The yellow emperor, it's very interesting. That's like it's part of that whole Aryan race thing. I'm really like been working on that for quite a while. The Aryan race, but it's part of Atlantean because the Chinese, that whole yellow emperor, which was like the beginning of Chinese, they say the yellow emperor, and they're clear it's not the gold emperor, it's the yellow emperor, and had yellow hair and came and taught them about harvesting and growing and making things. He was a person. So whether he came from another planet or whether he was part of the Atlanteans that traveled across, and that's the whole quest of the Aryan race. But very interesting. So no, they didn't want the West to know that they were blonde-haired, these ancient Chinese.
Interesting.
Yeah, red-haired
People
and
are,
blonde.
people are
And
throwing
then
their lineage in the chat there. So for myself, I'm 100% Lithuanian. Both of my sets of family came from Vilnius, Lithuania, and one left before the Cossacks went crazy, and one left because the Cossacks went crazy. So there we go.
yeah.
They both ended up in New York City, and then they ended up in Baltimore. So
Yeah, well, during the war and after the war, everybody changed their names.
yeah. Well, when he got to America, people would change their names too. My grandfather didn't know his date of birth, so because they don't know when they were born back then. Generally, you got an idea of how old you are. But so
Yeah.
he came to America. He said, "What's your name?" And he gave him the name, and he said, "Okay, here's your boom, boom, boom." So, what's your date of birth? He goes, "I don't know." He said, "Well, welcome to America, July 4th." Boom, boom, 19, whatever year it was, 23, whatever it was. Boom, July 4th. Boom. He slams it down. He says, "Here you go. Here's your date of birth," and he just made one up. So yeah.
From South Africa, we had very strange names. Mrs. Hogenbossum.
There you go. That's fun.
Yeah. And then people from the Van Niekerks, which means they're from no church.
Nice.
So they were given that name, the Van Niekerks. It's like, anyway. Bless you all. Please be safe, everybody. Please keep focusing. Please remember that violet fire. We can forget about it. Just remember it. Josh, I love the work you do.
Thank you.
Just like how I used for quite a long time, and this just makes so much sense that we're going through this dumb period, and we go through it every year, from around about the 15th of December to the 14th of January. So we all get fuzzed out and dumbed out. But my New Year's resolutions, I would think about them and start thinking. I didn't have to do them in January right away, but I would do a list of things that I wanted to complete during that year. They didn't have to start on January. So if it was to stop smoking, to do more exercise, to read more books, to learn this, and I made them also like you doing like really small things that were manageable. I sometimes thought, well, I cheated on myself because I made them manageable. And I would put the list up and they had to be done in that year. So if I was halfway through the year and I still hadn't started gym or extra walking, it was fine because I still had another 6 months to embrace it. Otherwise, we set ourselves up for failure. And I don't like to set myself up for failure because then I've got to put myself together again.
Exactly. That's why we're setting up those easy goals to start with, and then once you check off those, then you just keep it's like going downhill. You start rolling.
Then the next
More
one's
momentum.
easier, and then and the next thing you know, you're climbing Mount Everest.
Exactly.
So yeah, so be like, I mean, for many years, I did once or twice. I tried to, I mean, I have stopped smoking a few times in my life, but there were times I say, I'm not even going to say I'm going to. This is what I do right now because I'm not setting myself up for failure. I can do a lot of other things. So yeah, just don't set yourself up for failure. Says me, I set myself up for failure a lot. Now I'm just like very strong, very harsh on myself. But yeah, I think go through that with your New Year's resolutions. Oh, the Chinese also, so prepare that somewhere in your head. It's just such a wonderful thing, and you can do it on birthdays, your children's birthdays, and your own. I don't know if you have it in I think this also comes. We did a lot of trade with China, and it also comes long ago. That we have Weihnachtsgeld. Do you have Christmas money? No, but you
Not
can buy,
specifically.
yeah.
We do
No,
it
so
on the Hanukkah gelt, yeah, but no.
you get Hanukkah gelt. Yeah, I think there's so much Hanukkah stuff here as well, and the people they have these Hanukkah things in their window, which are definitely Hanukkah because I know the Jewish religion quite well. They're very confused here and they don't know where they get it from. But anyway, but we do give, so they have chocolate coins.
Yeah,
So we
exactly.
give chocolate coins, yeah.
Mhm.
But a Chinese thing for New Year is don't sleep over New Year. Whatever you do on New Year is going to be what's taking you through the whole next year. That's why they have all those big bangs and firecrackers. If you've ever been to a Chinese New Year ceremony, please go. It's very loud and it's very smelly because of all the gunpowder. But I don't know, they're completely wild in South Africa. But the big bangs chase away the negative evil spirits from the last year and for the new year. They feed the dragon money. But when you wake up in the morning, so they scatter the house with money for the kids, or they give it in little red envelopes as well. But it's really nice and it's fun if you've got grandchildren or small children that they almost do like an Easter hunt, or they wake up and they find money to pick up money. And because there's that incredible joy, and that's what you're going to be doing the whole year is just finding money, picking up money.
Nice. Nice.
So try and bring that into your New Year's celebration. Don't drink too much, please. We really right now it's not good. Alcohol is not good for our spirit.
It's poison.
Especially now.
I mean, the only thing they wanted to allow us to have to inebriate ourselves is something that can kill us if we drink. Right? Come on, I mean, let's give it. There's 8 million different things we could do to inebriate ourselves, but they give us the one thing they give us is the right. Oh, come on. So yeah, God, they don't really love us here, but nonetheless,
They've tried to destroy the indigenous cultures all over the world with alcohol.
oh sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's the blight in Canada, and American. Oh, yeah.
We had it in South Africa, and like really bad alcohol. So we call it karate juice, and the blacks don't really drink. And they couldn't go to movies, so the only movies that they could watch, and we've been lied to that there's like fighting. Most of them, they're very peaceful people. But the only movies that they could go and watch were Bruce Lee and Chinese movies.
Oh wow. At least they're watching Bruce Lee movies. I mean,
Which is okay, but they were trying to instill that aggression.
Interesting.
And then give them this. They make their own beer, Bantu beer, which is made with wheat, sorghum, and it smells like bleh.
I'm sure. I wonder how it tastes.
Rotten, it's sour, rotten yogurt, yeah.
Oh, there we go.
With the alcohol,
right,
yeah. But they don't, and this was part of the problem with Zimbabwe. He didn't want to grow tobacco, Mugabe, which is, they didn't want white people because they were fed up with the white people. But not with the white, but more with what they were doing. They were destroying their children through sex, alcohol, movies, and he didn't want to grow tobacco anymore for the white man because it was one of Zimbabwe's, Rhodesia's biggest exports, money-making things was tobacco. And they didn't want to have any alcohol in the country. Yeah.
We tried that here. It didn't work very well. We just created super criminals instead.
Yeah, but the white man, Dutch courage, and all of that. He's been. We're a funny lot. Funny lot. Don't know where we're from. I'm not sure if I like what I'm getting to know. We're really like not a nice lot.
All right, guys.
Yeah, and just remember that. So open up your thing and just read that one more quick time before we go to bed. Have that going in your brain. Faith. I love faith. Faith is my superpower, so that's why I like that so much. Faith unveils the spiritual laws behind the miracles, turning impossibilities into miracles. So find the formulas. We'll talk about Hindu stuff another time. Love you lots, everybody. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed. And yeah, drop me an email if you have questions about your environment space.
Yep, I will post all the email and such in the description there. Again, at Blindly Inspired. Please do subscribe. Wednesday, we'll have Blindly Inspired on, probably most, if not all, of Good Dawning. We'll have her along with us. Tuesday, we're going to have Chloe on for a half an hour on Good Dawning. She's going to do a flash sale for Christmas, which will give you plenty of time to get things within the week for Christmas there. And if you missed last week, again, last week is pinned in the community page there. There's a link to the Zoom recording that anybody can watch. So please check that out and grab your notebook and pen for it. It's always pretty good. And thank you again. Tonight was pretty amazing as well.
One last thing that I have to say, because I know
Yeah.
that Josh was asking for 50 euros. I can pledge 15 euros 50 a month towards
I
Josh's.
wasn't asking for
No,
anything.
you weren't asking. You mentioned it for StreamYard. If anybody wants to buy your StreamYard thing. And I thought, that's really, this is just the least that we can do. So maybe Millie, I don't know if you've got PayPal or whatever. I can't do the 50 euros, but I can from next month. I can give you 15 euros towards.
Oh, guys, I appreciate it. I really do.
So maybe
right now, it's trying to figure out why we're still upside down on the lives and Good Dawning. So if you're an Android engineer and you come across this, please email me at Mr. Flake Channeling with an L.
Maybe Millie Shame. I can hear Josh is getting all embarrassed here. He doesn't want to talk about the money.
You know what? I rarely ever do. I mean, if you guys want to donate, there is a PayPal. There's a PayPal link in the in my channel in the description. There's a PayPal link if you guys really do want to donate. I never ask.
But I think maybe if Millie, one of our divine mothers of our group, can actually just encourage us just to put together what I think it's. How much is it? $50 a month, 50 euros a month for
it's $44 or something. It's $44
for us, guys. If Josh doesn't have this, then we don't get it, and it's all coming out of his own pocket right now. So it's just if we all put together our five euros and 5 euros and 10 euros, it'll be quick. But just make it a pledge that every month Josh gets.
Oh, guys. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. I'm not, as you can see, I'm still learning how to receive. So a broken divine feminine, right? So thank you. I appreciate that. Seriously. Yeah, if you guys know why I'm upside down in the Good Dawning there, I have no idea. Well, it's not
any mistakes,
but
Josh.
it's inverted there. So who knows? But yeah, we could do it through StreamYard. It would be clear, and then I could mess with the chat and stuff too. But not have it freeze, right? But who knows if this has been Mercury retrograde? Now that at least Mercury is stationed there, so we'll see what happens as it gets easier. The next.
Remember, I just told you in the beginning, we're on our head right now. We're completely confused. We're nearest and they don't in the silly season. They don't get married. They don't fall pregnant. They really don't want to do anything in silly season.
Yeah, I'm going to take Kay's suggestion that maybe I'm actually correct and you guys are all inverted, right? So that's really what it is. God, how you see the universe.
It's nothing quite like looking at things at a different. It's about looking at a different perspective.
I've learned that's one of the biggest lessons I've ever learned is change your perspective, you change your universe. I mean, period.
But who was it? Was Eno that you had to Eno made? Remember Eno?
Yeah.
Yeah. And he made movies that you had to turn your TV set the other way around to watch the movie.
Yeah, or you had to flip it sideways. Craziness, yeah. All right, guys.
What were they called? Brian Ferry. What was he called? What was the band called?
Oh, yeah. Exactly. Guys, if you know the name of Brian Ferry's band, the crazy band that did all kinds of things sideways and crooked and stuff in the video. But Yeah, so we'll have Krista on Wednesday. She's gonna, maybe she'll talk also, as she had mentioned to me in email, about the 9 days here between the 12th and the 21st as well.
It's so big. And then if you can but when nobody's going to, very few people will do it, is actually we should be fasting as hard as
Yeah,
we can
I kind of blew
between the
that today. But
21st because now the sun stands still. And this is, yeah, as much as we can. And what even even if it's just like there was one year when I said there's nothing I can fast. I've given everything up, so maybe I'll do something. And I started praying. I did like a definite prayer every day. So that's also a thing. But if you can just try to clean the body to make more space. Oh yeah, isn't it cute? You like my fox? Foxy
Aw.
lady. That was the song that called me first many years ago. Foxy lady.
So Kay's gonna go photosynthesis on us. Maybe she'll become a breatharian, right?
Absolutely nothing wrong with it. I did it for quite a while here. My son would but now he's moved away. It's got positive and negative. But you feel it. I mean, I really feel that he's moved away.
Oh.
That's okay. I mean, I still see him, but I can really feel. It's the mother thing.
Yeah, no, I can, and being somebody who's not had to step away from his mother, so yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
I can relate to the energies of all of that. I never
yeah.
had the connection to my mother though, so there was always that karmic wall, so to speak. So there was never any connection. And she never held me as a child, so I never got that bond. I never bonded with her as a mom. She just became a
Sorry, that's
person.
so sad.
She was just a person to me. So
Yeah.
there
But
was no
did you have some other or you've got amazing women around you right now?
yes, everybody in this all of you guys are amazing.
Yeah.
Kay, thank you. Millie, Krista. Yeah, thank you. You guys are amazing. But no, my mother is extraordinarily karmic. Yeah, I mean, when I was born, I mean, like the second day, she just left me on the floor, and my dad and walked out of the house. I'm going out, and my dad was like, I don't know what to do. So yeah,
Sad. And my mother's mother was like that.
exactly, Scotty. Yeah, that's all you can do. So you stop talking. That's where I'm at. I mean, literally, if you want to know where I'm at, the 1212 portal. I'm just following
It is
the
we need
ascension.
to
I'm
really move
in
on
the pushing all that totally behind or leaving all
yeah.
that.
And just remember they've really it is what it is and it was what it was. And just move on because we can't keep we're moving into the light, but just really, I'm talking to myself too. Just remind yourself not to go back and pick up the shit again.
Exactly.
Yeah. I've worked with Feng Shui. It's always so interesting when you clean out an area, or you will notice in your home, you clean out an area, and the next thing you know, everybody's dumping in that area again. You say, but I just cleaned that out. And you clean it out, and it's the energy. The energy is still there. You have to get rid of it. Work with bells, work with the spray, get rid of it. We've told you lots of things to get rid of, how to do things. Do it once a week. Just walk around your house, ding, 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 clear the energy.
I like that. And use Palo Santo too, or something to that effect. If you use
Absolutely.
sage, you're going to clear you negate all the energies. If you use Palo Santo, you just clear the negative energies.
Well,
Yeah.
it's the same as I say. If you can go to all the health practitioners and do all the wonderful work, they will work. But as soon as you start working with your home to support your transformation, I mean, relationships, Josh, look at your mother. That's there. You can work with that. So that's the mother area.
Oh, exactly. That's why I'm working on it. So we work with Goddess Isis for a reason. So to say the healing
But
of
as
their
soon
trauma.
as you just put two stones out there on your veranda, just find two beautiful pebbles. They can be rose quartz, is even better, but just a bigger pebble and a smaller pebble, and you will immediately start finding that relationships and that energy of your mother is just going to go quicker. Yeah.
I can do that. They're
Goodbye,
on sale at the
guys.
store. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Join us on Wednesday again, where we can continue this on Good Dawning. And if you're new here, pardon me, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell at Blindly Inspired for Krista's channel. Please subscribe there as well. And we will see you tomorrow, 10:33 Eastern, 7:33 Pacific in the dawning. Scotty, thank you. I saw your comment there. Appreciate you, brother. Love you too, man. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you. You all have karmic parents for a reason. My mother was karmic so that I could learn to that I'm source. We have to go through the fire to find our light, right? All right, Krista, thank you so much. That was amazing, and we will see you guys on Wednesday with Krista again. But of course tomorrow. Thank you, Krista.
Thank you, everybody.